All right. So I've been guided to go live again. I'm trying not to smile. I always get like super silly on here, but it was a lot of like messages that was coming through, and like I stumbled on the last one that was like for myself, and I just knew it was like also like needed to be shared in the collective. I've been wanting to speak because something happened yesterday, and I was like, man, I think like people need to hear this. But then I was also like, first I need to deal with like how I'm dealing with this, and then I can like share with people. But I also felt like people know how to handle this. Like one of the things I was gonna say is that like you don't need me to tell you like what to do or what this is. You already know what this is and you already know what to do. Um, but the last message that I wanted to share here from that was message for me from like the long, I guess, messages that were coming through for myself was about matching and resonating in terms of frequency with others. This is something that has been, one second, let me like shield this. Okay. This is something that has been like very obvious, I will say, in my life. Is like uh my energy like being very strong, that it'll like repel like things that are not meant for me, like things that are not allowed. um I will share this because I feel like it's important. But the other day I claimed myself, or I reclaimed like more of my energy back from myself. And I was in a very like self lovey-dovey mode. Like I felt very like connected and in oneness with myself. And I knew like when I was like in that energy, it sent out, I knew three, it sent out a message to like everybody like in my field, or who was even like remotely connected to me, and even the people all around me just knew. And somebody called me like out of the blue, somebody that like I haven't talked to probably since like last year. And in terms of like text message, like I maybe hearted one of their messages. It was somebody that was oh hi, that was romantically interested in me, and I hadn't talked to them. We don't talk. And they called me. He called me out of nowhere, but it wasn't out of nowhere. It was because my frequency like was very like, it was very big, and he was very like how do I like say this? I guess just plainly, he was very adamant about like going out with me like on a date. And I was like telling him, I was like, I can't. That was my response, because I was like checking in with my soul. I was like, I can't. And I didn't say I don't want to or I will not. I said I can't. I cannot. And I knew that I was speaking in terms of like the frequency of it. And this is what I mean by, this is something that I've seen like happen a lot in my life. And I feel that this message is like, is important to the collective right now. And I will do my very best, which I always do, to tie it in with everybody. But even this may be resonating with you as well. Thank you so much for the person who thumbs up this this thing. But basically, I said I can't, and it was in terms of frequency. I have had it like my whole life when I've really like wanted to be around people, or wanted to be romantically involved with people, or even like sexually involved with people. I've had it be like literally like blocked. I don't know if it's something I've like, I think I've mentioned a few times on my channel, but it's been a while. And I think it's also been a while since I've mentioned it to like my friends or like people close to me. But like people would literally like, their cell phone would break like after like after we made plans to like hang out. I had somebody's cell phone break. I've had people's power go out like after talking to me on the phone. Like I've had people move away. Like I remember in high school, I would have like close friends, but I knew like they weren't like people I should be around. They would like move to a different school. Like the next semester they'd be gone. This also happened a lot in college too. Or like they'd graduate and like they move on from campus. And so it was no longer even possible for me to hang out with these people. And then this happened last Friday. I was supposed to hang out with one of my friends. Last minute, she had to cancel. And then like, yeah, like with this person that was interested in me, I already knew beforehand. I was like, I can't. I knew that like if I tried, because one time my friend like tried to set me up with this guy, and I knew the energy was off. The energy was way off. But I was like lonely, as can be a life for for people like me, can be a life. And also just like my energy, you know, the frequency of me like feeling like, oh, nobody can like me, you know, things like that also influence it, what I think, what I believe. But there is a lot of solitude, I just feel like, in general with this life. So I said yes. And so I think at first like it kept like changing the date, like it just would never line up with us both being free. And then I was like I forced it. I was like, I want to like do this. And on the way to meet this person, I was driving on a regular road. There was no dumpster or anything in front of me. And out of a tree, like a rock hit the windshield of my car and cracked it. And I was like, oh, I'm still going, even though that just happened. So I went and I met the guy at a park. And as I walked up to him, I felt the energy. It did not feel very good. But I was like, you know, I called this person out here. Let me at least like go say hello. I got hit in the center of my head hard with an acorn from a tree, like saying, girl, back off. This has happened several times in my life. Like, where I overrode the no, because we create our own realities. Like you can override anything, you can change it, you can force it, I think, at least most of the time. And anyway, so I overrode it, and like I got like my body got messed up. Like I got like I guess I could say sick when I forced it to happen anyways. I've had like somebody like job go bankrupt like right after they met me. We were supposed to like hang out, and I had like certain intentions for the connection. Like their job went bankrupt, and they had to like deal with like all this stuff and like losing their job and things like that. I say all this to say, like, not to like to brag or anything, although who knows, maybe like I have like a subconscious intention to brag, but I promise you, like, nobody skipped out on suffering in this school of life, okay? I'll say that. But the point of what I'm saying is that Monday, my mother told me about like what's been going on in the news. I don't watch the news, and as I've said before, I deleted my Instagram. Only thing I have is Substack and YouTube, and I very much like I'll block anything that like doesn't resonate with me. Anything with the news or anything, I block it, because I create my own reality, right? I don't want anything else telling me like what my reality is, as much as I can. And the only way information gets to me like that is like from somebody that has access to me, that's close to me. And my mama told me about that, and I was immediately like, no, it's not. Like, I was immediately like, why are you even listening to that? Like, it's ridiculous. But anyways, I got angry from even her like mentioning that to me. And I was like, even though like I knew the intention behind such news from the news is to anger and like trigger people, to create fear in the field. But like even just her mentioning that to me, even though I don't believe it in the way that they are intending us to believe it, even though I'm not denying like that certain things aren't happening. Just to say that it was still working, because it was still making me angry, and it was still getting me to fuel this reality, right? And so the way that I'm connecting all of this with like the energy and frequency is that like we create our own realities, and your frequency of who you are and how you are choosing to live your life, it's creating it literally in front of you moment by moment. But also, you know, your past thoughts from yesterday or whatever created today, things like that. I don't want to get into all the time stuff, but what I was saying earlier about like blocking and like those things just not making it to your reality, you can think of them as like bubbles, like huge bubbles like around you. Like everything in my reality around me is beautiful because that's how I'm feeling it to be. And so like imagine if like multiple people like had these bubbles of like just pure joy and beauty around them colliding with each other. It would make the small bubbles even bigger, and like keep on expanding the circumference of that circle until it's everywhere. And so I feel like I wanted to say that, and I also wanted to say like, if at this time you are running into like these like blocks of like, I don't know, like frequency, like incongruences, these are great signs that you're like in alignment, most likely with like your soul's like intention, or like you're in alignment with like the highest. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. I keep feeling something. I keep feeling like this feeling that I've been feeling this whole time of like interference, or like trying to like force me to doubt. But I'm like, no, I know what I'm talking about and I believe myself. Oh, there's a big ass bird. I think it's one of those cranes. Right? I forgot what they called. Cranes are like something else. It's one of those that be at like the pond and stuff. Okay, just give me a minute. I'm just trying to make sure that like I've said everything and that I've like left nothing out. Excuse me. Yes, it's also something I want to say. So since obviously like I'm doing something right in terms of like people who don't match my frequency not being able to get access to me, I was like, then why did that comment from my mother, or that transference of information from my mother, why was that able to reach me? And so I also like put that question on you. Like, if something is popping up in your reality, like, be asking yourself why. It could simply be that you need to like have better boundaries and like speak up about yourself to like, yeah, with this car sound. Because as I was saying, like the person that called me the other day, I never wanted to like pursue anything romantic with this person. Maybe at the first interaction, yes, but that was like last year. And like over every few months they would message me, and I usually wouldn't say anything or like respond, maybe give a heart or like a thumbs up. But it's like I was still allowing that energy to be in my reality. I never gave a firm no. I never gave a firm I don't want this. And so I was still consenting to it in some way. And after that call on Sunday, I was like, I put like a firm no to it. Firm no. I cannot betray myself or compromise in that way. And so, like I said, if something is popping up, if something is able to reach you, when you know that you're in alignment with your highest, then be asking yourself, like, what am I still consenting to? What am I still allowing? What beliefs am I still holding on? What insecurities? Because I feel like, to be honest, a part of the reason why, and all of this is connected, part of the reason why I was allowing this kind of like situation to be dragged out was out of fear of like, out of fear of loneliness, out of fear of like, okay, if I fully turn this person down, then like, what if one day I'm lonely and I don't have anybody to talk to? That was what it kind of was, which I feel like a lot of people can relate to, I feel. But this time I was like, you know, fuck it. Like, I don't want I don't want this in my field. I don't want to be involved with this person in that kind of way, even though I don't dislike them even. It's just not for me. It was 6:33. So yes, be very firm. Right now is a very good time to be very firm and very clear about who you are, and therefore like what you do, especially or especially if it's not like a necessarily like an action, but like your energy. What are you like consenting to in your energy? What are you agreeing to energetically? I would also say that I've noticed, it could just be with me, but I feel like myself is always a reflection of everybody else. I've noticed that like now when I have like an issue or a feeling that's bothering me, because a lot of my stuff, it comes with my just intuition, like clear cognizance. I'm like, okay, there's something bothering me. If I just sit for even like a minute and like not with no distractions, the answer usually comes immediately. I feel like it's quicker now to get like the answers from your guides or yourself. Like it comes in quicker and cleaner and clearer now. And I feel there's this last message that I'm like wondering if I should share. I'm not really sure. I'm not a big fan of lives, even though I don't mind them, but there can be a lot of interference that comes with live videos, I guess, just because of all the people. It's like sending energy, and it's like, you know, and then especially with my like clear audience, I can hear people, and I use that a lot, and so it's like a lot of people like speaking who are viewing this, and I am feeling like there's some sort of like restriction with this, so I might let it go early, but just give me a moment. Let me see if this is meant to be shared or if there's anything else that is pertinent at this time. Okay, so I kept seeing that today is the 24th, and my friend sent me a message earlier that was like, she said like 24/7. I don't know if I should mention that now. I feel like maybe not, since it's like this energy is obviously like there's something going on with it. But maybe it'll like clear up, like if I like start saying certain things. Oh, look at the pop. I feel like that's a no. But anyways, the number 24, and like I kept hearing like 24 hours in a day, and then I saw like glimpses of this book that I never finished called The Goldfinch. And I remember that kid's life changed in a day, and today for me, I had like unexpected things happen. They were for the better, I think, but mostly just unexpected. and like they're saying everything can change in a day, and like you can let it be that day be the best day or the worst day depending on like how you view it. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.